This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Forest River Flagstaff Shamrock. The model number is 21SS. Okay. So this is not a floor plan video, and it's not a sales video. It's how-to. So this is also kind of a supplemental video. You can go to the manufacturer's setup video to learn more about the bunks, or the beds as they call them. We're also going to show you how they work when you pick up, but because I'm standing here with this camera, I can't operate it by myself here, so I can't really show them to you, other than basically you're pushing this up there's two of them to release it. This is a newer feature up here. It's this, as you can see, there's a metal or aluminum strip of metal that presses evenly along the top of the bunk. The unique thing about these Shamrock and the Shamrock, the Flagstaff Shamrock and the Rockwood Thru, which are the same trailers basically, they don't leak, and they're really the only one, or if there's others, there's only a few that can actually say that. These are as tight as you can get, and they will not leak on you. I've been doing this for many years, and I remember when you couldn't, there was always issues with them in the early days, but as of now, as of several years now, but as of now, they don't leak at all, so it's going to stay nice and dry all the time. Now, if you have to put the beds up and while the canvases are wet, remember, you want to, the first chance you get, you want to open them up and let them dry out on the outside and the inside. Not that they're going to be wet on the inside, but you want to get the dampness out, so you can open the door and windows and just let the wind whistle through them on a nice summer day. Even if you're not going to be camping in it, let's say you're going to take a summer off, you still want to open these up like same thing you would with a pop-up tent trailer. You want to open them up and spend some time in the sun and let the wind whistle through. Like I said, it's really good for it, and it keeps the it keeps from the conditions being created that would cause it to mold or mildew. Just keeps it nice and dry, so keep that in mind. Another thing to remember is the manufacturer states that you should inspect your roof every 90 days. So that's very important. People don't generally inspect the roof enough. Now, I'm not talking about just for this trailer. That applies to every trailer ever made, right? So you need to go up there, or have somebody go up there, look at all the sealant. There's a lap sealant up there. Make sure there's no cracking or separation where water could get in. Also make sure that there's no damage to roofing material or to roofing attachments by low branches or road debris, that sort of thing. So make sure you do that, and it'll protect your investment. It's very important, okay? Now, here we are at the door side rear. So you have regular crank type, scissor type stabilizers here. It takes a 3/4 inch crank or a 3/4 inch socket on a electric drill. Okay. Power awning with LED strip. You have your low point drains down here. That's used for winterizing the trailer and de-winterizing it. Your LP disconnect is down here for the griddle. Right, so you can see it right there, I believe, yes. So that's a quick connect. Your griddle hangs right here on this rail. Also, there's a utility table that goes next to it. So I'm just going to show you the griddle here just for a second. There's also a LP hose, a rubber hose with a quick connect to one side and a male on the other, and that's how you get gas to it. So basically, this is it right here. It'll hang on the rail right here. This goes over the rail, and then this goes against the trailer. You will hook the hose onto here, and then the other end of the hose will go on that quick connect, and so you'll be able to tap into the LP system. Okay. All right. Also, outside there's going to be a TV mount, and this is the other half of it that you would put on the TV if you want to use a TV outside. Okay. Let's go back out there. Okay. So that would be right here. The other half of the bracket goes here. You got signal out, and then you got power, of course. You have outside speakers. Now this right here is the vent for the range hood. So keep in mind that there's a baffle in there, and if you want to vent to the outside, let's say you're cooking and you want to vent to the outside, you always want to push up those tabs there. I don't know if you can see them, but you just push them up and the baffle will free itself up so it flaps freely. You always want that baffle flapping freely when you're venting to the outside. Otherwise, you just push on it and snap it shut when you're traveling or in storage, something like that, okay? One other thing that's a neat feature is you can operate this slide room manually in an emergency, right? So that's what this hole is right here. Let me see if I can show you. Let me get my monitor in the right position here. Right there, let me see if I'm seeing it here, hold on. Very dark. Right there, there's a shaft with a pin through it. Okay. I'm trying to make sure I get it here because I can barely see it. Let me try this again just to make sure. I want you to see what I'm talking about here. So there's a shaft with a pin through it. Now, if you come up front here, that would be this crank right here. See, this is a cylinder with a slot cut in it, right? That would fit right over the crank with the pin through it, and you can actually crank that slide room manually in an emergency. So you can always get out of trouble. That's a great feature. Now, your power tongue jack also has a similar feature. You can pull if it happens to fail for any reason, you can pull this plug right here, and then there's another crank here, which would be this one right here. You can put that right on the hex inside there, and you can crank that manually also in an emergency. Okay. Now, this is just your 3/4 inch crank that we use for the stabilizers right there. Okay. So 3 different cranks. 2 of them are override cranks to get you out of trouble. All right. So while we're here, this is just a hookup for a solar battery charger. If you wanted to purchase a solar battery charger that plugs onto this one, you can do it, and then of course you can charge your battery that way if you need to. Now, you do have a solar panel on the roof, obviously. This would just be an added feature if you wanted to purchase it, okay? Now, this is the table that I told you about that hangs on the rail next to the griddle. It hangs over here on the rail, of course. All right, power tongue jack. Like I showed you, you can crank it manually if you need to, but this is just up and down. And of course, you got a light here also. Now, let me see if I can pull this up here so I can show you what I want to show you here. Try that. So there is a kill switch for the battery, and it's right here. So you can see that knob there. You can actually disconnect the battery by turning that off. Okay. Now you're normally going to want to leave it on because when you're pulling it down the road, your tow vehicle will charge. The tow vehicle's alternator will charge your batteries. The solar panel charges your batteries. Plus, when you're plugged in, the power converter will charge the battery. So you really want to keep it turned on. But when you put it into storage, you can shut it off over the winter or something if you need to. Okay. Anyways, this is it's got 2 LP tanks with a automatic changeover regulator. You have 2 deep cycle marine batteries wired together as 12 volts. So they're wired together so it still outputs 12 volt. It just doubles the storage capacity, which is a good thing because you have a power inverter. If you don't know, an inversion is taking 12 volt DC and inverting it to 120 AC, right? That's an inverter. You also have solar panel, which you'll store energy in the extra battery. Also, now this also converts power, which is the other thing, going from AC to DC. I'll talk to you about more when we get inside, okay? All right. The other end of your pass-through storage. This is your inverter right here, just so you know where it's at. The button to turn it on and off is inside. Just some of the outlets are going to be inverted, right? So if you want to use an AC appliance, AC plug-in appliance like a blender or a coffee pot or something, you can invert the 12-volt battery power and invert it to 120 AC and use that. Okay. All right. So now this is most of the time you'll get water from the city water hookup. You just screw it on there and off you go. Now, if you're camping somewhere that does not have power, or excuse me, that does not have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill your tank right here, and then you can turn on the water pump and it'll pump water out of the tank. Everything will work as though you have city water, but you'd be pumping out of the tank. Okay, that's another great feature. If you have city water, you don't have to worry about the pump or the tank at all. But I'll show you the pump and the switch when we get inside. Okay, so these are your dump valves here. You can see the smaller one is always the gray one. Gray is sink and shower water. Black is toilet water and waste. So keep that in mind. When you dump the black water, you can leave the valve open, and over here will be a black tank flush, which is right here. So if you dump your black tank, you open the valve and leave it open, then you can put the hose at the dump station right on here, turn it on, and it'll flush out the tank, and it'll also spray off the sensors for the monitor panel, so you get a good accurate reading from it too. So, okay. While we're standing here, this is the city water hookup that we talked about. This is the most common way to get water to the trailer. These are just satellite and cable through. They're just coaxes, as you can see. And this is for winterizing. You'll have to learn a bit about it if you're going to winterize yourself, but that's where you draw the antifreeze into the system. Now, while we're here, if we look in here, this is a water filter canister. You get a filter plus a wrench with it to spin that thing off. The filter, if you choose to use it, will last 1 season, so you have to replace it after a season. Some people don't use it because they don't drink the water. It's really up to you. But that's the water filter canister. This is your water pump back here, just so you know where it's at. And this valve right here has to do with winterizing. Right now it's set in a position to where the water pump will draw from the fresh water tank. But you can change the position when you're winterizing, so it draws, instead of drawing through the tank, it'll draw through this line right here. The other end of it will go into a gallon of antifreeze, and you can pump antifreeze throughout your system when you winterize. Okay? This is normally shut. This is the panel. Everything's held together with number 2 square-headed screws, so you got to get one of those bits for your drill if you don't have it. Okay? All right, back over here. You have a 30 amp, 30-foot power cord with a reducer if you need to reduce it down to 20. This is a outside shower / sprayer for kids, dogs, feet, bicycles, whatever you want to do. This is your water heater on the outside anyway. The 6-gallon tank is connected to this right on inside the trailer. It's right in back of that. You can see that this works on both gas and electric. So you got a gas burner right here, runs on your LP, and then behind this cover here, you've got an electric heating element. Now make sure you never run the electric heating element or the gas burner without water in here. So if you've drained it out, because you're not going to be camping for months, and you don't want to smell like rotten eggs and like water does when it's stagnant. You always make sure you refill it before you turn the water heater on. This is where you drain it from, right here. It takes a 1/16 6-point socket. It's an anode rod also, so it's long. It's about 8 inches long, I think. So, okay, so the switches to control the electric and the gas are inside. I'll show you that when we get in there. Okay. That housing there tells us that this is pre-wired for a backup camera. So if you want to get a backup camera, it takes the Furion camera that fits in that housing. We sell them here. You can get them elsewhere. It's up to you. But if you want to see what's going on behind you when you're backing up and going down the road, you can get that, okay? All right, so remember what I said about inspecting the roof. That's very important. Every 90 days the manufacturer suggests, so keep that in mind. That's all trailers, not just this one. It's standard. Okay. Okay, so you can see right here, just for the heck of it, it says on here that this circuit or this duplex is GFI protected. It also says it's an inverter circuit. So that means when you turn on your power inverter, there's going to be AC coming out of here, even if you're not plugged in to AC power. You come over here. This is how you turn your inverter on. You're just going to go like that. You can see the green light came on. Now it's inverting the 12 volt DC from your batteries to 120 AC. Okay, and like I said, it doesn't run everything on AC power, just the plugs, just the receptacles. Okay, to shut it off, you hold it for a few seconds before you release it, and then it goes off. While we're here, this is the carbon monoxide LP gas detector right here. There's a green LED on it. It should always be green. If it's not, get it serviced. This tells you if there's carbon monoxide buildup or LP gas leak. If it goes off, you take everybody outside, obviously, shut the gas off of the front, figure out what's going on. If it beeps very slowly, the same tone but very slowly, it's telling you that your battery's low. So it's also a low battery alarm. Okay? Alrighty. So, what to do here? I'll go right to conversion here. So this device here is the battery converter, right? Most trailers have this. So this takes AC power, regular household current, and it converts it to 12 volt DC over here. So you got regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home. They're all labeled, right? This is the distribution center like you'd have at home. And then the power sent over here to the 12 volt side is converted to 12 volt DC. You got regular 12 volt fuses here, and you also have, they're also labeled. So it converts your AC to 12 volt DC. Now, one of the functions of this is also it's a battery tender. So after it converts the AC, as long as you're plugged in, after it converts the AC to DC power, it'll sense how much energy your batteries need up there, and it will keep them charged. If they're topped off, it'll just trickle a couple amps up there. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever they need to charge, okay? So that charges your battery. When you're pulling down the road, of course, the alternator in your tow vehicle charges your batteries. And, let me get on my feet here. And if you come over here, let me see if we can light it up so you can see. I know it's hard to see with the camera, but right now, let me back off so I can show you. Okay, so one more. So right now we got 13.5 volts in your batteries, right? I'll skip that one for now. They're charged 100%, so there's no more room in them. And you have 35 amp hours. So if I come back over to here, we got 0.0. You see the picture of the sun, the arrow's pointing towards the solar panel on there. It's telling you right now the 0.0 amps is being put into the batteries. The reason it's saying that is because they're full. So when there's no room to store anymore, it'll always say 0.0. Now once they drop, let's say you for whatever reason you're not plugged in and you're using up, once it drops, then it'll start storing the amps in the battery. So it'll say, let me get back to where I was here. So it'll say, you know, usually like on a day like today, it probably says 6.5 or something like that. It depends on obviously if there are clouds in the sky, what time of day it is, where the sun is in the sky, the time, you know, all that stuff is our factors, right? So after the battery has been, the power has been dropped, you'll see that this will change from 0.0 to whatever it's converting. Okay. So when you come tomorrow to pick up, I'm sure if you're coming in the morning, so we probably won't have it plugged in, so it'll be showing you the accurate amount of energy that's being taken from the solar cells. So keep that in mind. Also, it says you got flooded batteries, which you do. If you got gel batteries or lithium batteries, you know, just better batteries, you can change this to lithium or to gel batteries. It's set at flooded because those are flooded batteries, and it has to be set to the type of battery so it does the right calculations. So, okay, this is all self-evident, a lot of it. There's a charger there and that sort of thing. Now there is an app for this one, so you can get the app at GoPower. Also, there's information in your packet. If you really want to learn a lot about it, you can go right to their website. They got a great website too. But you can see this does have Bluetooth. All right. Hopefully I said that so you understand it. This is your control panel. Okay, so basically your levels here. Battery's charged. Fresh water has got water in the tank because we're still prepping it and testing it. But your black tank is low, or is actually empty. Your gray tank is empty. You can see it graduates up in 1/3 increments with these lights as it goes, so keep that in mind. To turn your water heater on electric, right there. To light it on gas, it's right here. To turn on your water pump, it's right here. So you can turn it on right there. This water pump's used to pump fresh water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have plumbing on the campsite. It's also used to winterize your trailer. This also has tank heaters in it, so there's heating pads on all the holding tanks. You can turn it on there, and it'll actually extend your camping season by keeping the whatever in your tanks, the fresh water or the waste, from freezing. Okay, your slide out button is here. Your awning button is here. You can see right here. Here, let me turn the awning light on. You can see it right there, in and out. Never leave it out unattended, of course. If you're not going to be there, you're going to have to roll it in. These are just lights here, except for this one is the Wi-Fi Ranger. Okay, so you can't see it very well, so I'll just describe it to you. This is the information for the Wi-Fi Ranger. The Wi-Fi Ranger is a digital signal booster, right? So, the top line will say Tenton. Looks like it says 3757. That's your Wi-Fi Ranger. So when you and your family look at your devices, your phones and tablets, you'll go to Wi-Fi and you'll find that and make up a password for that so it hooks up to it automatically, right? The bottom line here is that you type this address into a browser and it'll take you to the page for the Wi-Fi Ranger. The temporary password is Change Me Now 3757. So obviously you'll make up your own password for that. But what happens is it'll take it to the web page. You'll be able to see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. So if you got a code from the campground for your or a password for public or for campground Wi-Fi, you type that in there and basically you're all set. It's a great signal booster. There's also a cellular function, but most people don't use it. You can look into that if you're interested. You'd have to pay a service like you would with any cell phone or any tablet. So most people just use the free Wi-Fi. Now you can scan this doohickey here, and it'll take you to another website where you can learn more about it also. But it's a Wi-Fi signal booster, and it does a really, really good job. Okay. There's also an app for this panel here too, as you can see here. Okay. All right. Let me see what else we have here. All right. You have your sound right here. So you have AM, FM radio. You have Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or tablet, whatever you have. You have a USB. You also have a HDMI. That's an HDMI in. You've got a CD and DVD player in it, and then 2 speaker zones. One is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. So it does a lot. Okay. Your TV is pretty self-explanatory what the TV does. You just have to remember that this is the signal booster for the digital antenna. There's a green LED on here, and keep in mind that you always want it on, or you won't get a good picture anytime you're using the antenna. So you want that to be turned on, or else you'll just get a bunch of noise. Okay. All right. So I don't know if he's got the gas on your range, but I'll show you. I'll talk you through it either way. This is the sparker. You turn this clockwise to spark it. Right. 3 knobs and 3 burners, and then this is the oven. So let me see if he's got. No, so he's got it shut off. But anyway, you're going to turn it on, and you're just going to spark this by turning it clockwise to light it. Okay. Then when it comes to the oven, all the way at the bottom here, there's a pilot light. So I can spark it. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can't. It just depends. Which one do we have here? Yeah. So maybe you, like I said, you can't always see it. But this is how it works. You go to the knob. You go to the picture of the flame. You'll depress it. Keep it depressed during the whole lighting procedure. You're going to spark it by turning it clockwise till you see the flame light down here. After it lights, you hold it for another 10 seconds or so to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to operating temperature. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight it each time you use it. Okay. This is the cheat sheet for the radio. It tells you all the most important features of it. Okay. Of course, this is your range hood. So the fan is right here. The light is right here. Remember to open the baffle if you're venting to the outside. Microwave works like any other microwave. Your keys are right here. It's all keyed alike too. So one key unlocks everything. All the compartments, everything. Alright, so let me look around a bit here. Never travel with the table in the up position. You always want to put it down on these cleats here. Right, there's 4 cleats. This yellow button here, you push it to the right to release it, and then you just fold it at the hinges, and it'll drop right down onto here. So you put it in the down position when you're traveling so it doesn't bounce around and break something, okay? Also, when it's in the down position, you can use the back cushions and turn it into another bed. Alright, so remotes here. This is your tire monitor. We'll talk to you more about that when you pick up. It basically will tell you your tire pressure and the temperature of your hubs. It's a really good thing. Okay. Your couch is actually a hide-a-bed. So you'll pull these back cushions off and then grab it down here and fold it out, and it's a really nice hide-a-bed. Okay. Now. This panel's off too, right? I showed you in the back of the trailer. We're back there, but we're on the off-door side now. This is the back of the water heater. These are bypass valves. Right now, you're in camping mode, right? So it's all ready to go. The water heater's filled with water. The thing is, before you winterize it, before you pump antifreeze into it, you have to change these valves so the water goes through this bypass line instead of going into the water heater, because you can't get, I said water, I meant antifreeze, because you can't get antifreeze into the system. It'll leave a lousy taste, and you can't really get rid of it. So you keep it out of the water heater, and that's where the valves are to do that. Those are called bypass valves. You might know all this stuff, but okay. So this is your thermostat. It's an analog thermostat. It's all very simple. Try to always run the fan on auto. That's the best way to do it. You have 2 fans, one here, one here. They both have a hood over them so you can open them in the rain. They're 4-speed. They work really well for pulling out humidity, condensation from your breath, all that stuff. Okay. This is a inverted circuit here, but it is the GFCI. All the plugs in the trailer, including the one on the outside, are wired through this GFCI. Okay. So you'll reset it there. Okay, so this device here is the water miser, the shower miser. What it is a recirculating pump that pumps the water around in a loop from the water heater to here, back around and around and around, the same water. The reason you do that is because if you're in a drought area, you don't want to waste water heating it up. So normally when you're heating it up, it's the cold water is just going down the drain until you get it warm enough to where you want to use it, right? So by doing that, you're wasting fresh water, and also you're wasting storage space in your gray tank. So what will happen, this will turn a kind of a beigeish color. When it turns that beigeish color, you know it's hot. Then you're going to switch the position of it and use it like a regular shower. But while the water's heating up, it just loops it around in a circle. Okay? Alrighty. The toilet works like any other RV toilet. The black tank is directly below, right down there. You can't use it dry, so when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water. You'll come in here, you'll put a dose of chemical in the bowl, then you'll step on the pedal and let about a gallon or so of water go into the black tank. You can't use it dry, so you have to have water and chemical in there. Otherwise, the smell will be terrible, and plus you can get clogged up. So always make sure you have water and chemical in there. Okay. So I think that about covers it. Like I said, we'll go over it with you when you pick up. We'll show you the bunks and everything then also. But that covers most of the features. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting your roof every 90 days. And right now, this is in camping mode. So the antifreeze has been purged from the system. The water heater's in camping mode and is filled with water, so it's all ready to go. Okay? Thank you.